In cruise news today, we are covering a tragic death on board the MSC Virtuosa. We have an update on that. And this summer, Mexico is going to start their tax hike for cruise passengers. And our last story is a lawsuit over tripping on stairs on board a ship. We're going to talk about all that and more, so let's dive in. Welcome back. I am Jordan with Beyond the Dock, and today we are covering our cruise news for Thursday, May 8th, 2025. First up, there was a murder on board the MSC Virtuosa over the weekend. We have an update. So if you haven't heard the story yet, there was a stag do, which is what in America we call a bachelor party, a stag do. 60-year-old James Mesham was in an altercation with a 57-year-old man. We do not know his name yet, but as a result, James was killed. Now, there were a lot of passengers on board that didn't even know this happened. As soon as calls went out, they put sheets up blocking off the area from view so passengers couldn't see what was going on. I'm sure it was to keep people away from filming the tragedy. Now, this happened on Saturday. On Monday, the 57-year-old was taken into custody, and by Tuesday, he was released on bail. So there aren't a lot of details about this. The ship left from Southampton and was en route to Belgium. Now, it's surprising to me that it happened so quickly, only 2.5 hours into the cruise. Usually it will take a little bit longer for altercations to occur. So by the time this happened, it was like 8:30 p.m. local time. But it's a really sad situation anytime anybody dies. And so our hearts go out to those families. Story number 2. Last year, Mexico Congress passed a new tax on cruise passengers for every port. They were going to implement a $42 non-resident duty for everyone, whether you got off the ship or not. Now, of course, there was a lot of pushback from the cruise industry because $42 per passenger per port would raise costs, and it could cause cruise lines to stop somewhere else or choose not to stop in as many Mexican ports. So Mexico just came back, and starting July 1st, there will be a $5 non-resident duty per passenger. But it doesn't stay at $5. Next year on August 1st, so 2026, it goes up to $10. And then July 1st, 2027, it goes up to $15. And then August 1st, 2028, it goes up to $21. And so far, that's as high as it goes, but who knows, in the next few years, they could want to increase it again and eventually get up to their $42. They're estimating 67% of this money that will come in will go towards the military. In order to keep the fees lower, the cruise lines have agreed to help with updating piers. So anytime fees go up, of course, those fees are passed on to the cruiser, and we have seen cruise costs going up. Partly could be because people are cruising. More and more people every year are cruising, and cruise ships are selling out completely. So they can raise their prices. If Mexico did go forward with the $42 fee, it would have been the most expensive port in the world. Mexico decided, wants to raise rates, and then just recently Grand Cayman decided they voted down the proposal to build out a pier to allow larger cruise ships to port rather than tender. For our last story, we are talking about a lawsuit. A 75-year-old woman, Marion Reynault, is suing Mariella Explorer for £50,000 after she fell down some stairs. She went to the theater to watch the show, and as she was walking, she tripped on one of those like little toe guard things on the stairs and fell. And it wasn't like I fell down. It was scratched on her face, her arms, big gash on her shin, which required a skin graft. That is a serious fall. So she is suing, she wants compensation. Now the cruise line is saying, well, you were wearing high-heeled shoes. And she responded, they weren't high heels, they were wedges. The wedges were 2 to 2.5 inches. And she claims that the little toe guard on the edge of the stair was in disarray and caused her to trip. The cruise line is saying, you need to watch where you're going, for one. They have all the stairs lit up. They have those guards on every step, and they're flush with the flooring so that they're not a tripping hazard. So who knows what it looked like at the time. I didn't see any pictures of the stairs to show that it was a tripping hazard, but this is a good story. Our cruise line's responsible for any injuries that happen. And if someone trips, is it the cruise line's fault or is it the passenger's fault? One claims the stair is a tripping hazard, the other says the stair is safe and you're the hazard. So let me know in the comments what you think. Should cruise lines be held responsible anytime there is an injury? Or do you think passengers should be responsible for their own well-being and be careful? And of course, if there's something really bad that the cruise line hasn't fixed, like if that little metal piece was sticking up and the room maybe was dimly lit so she couldn't see very well even though the stairs are lit and she tripped, that could be grounds, in my opinion, then the cruise line should be held responsible. But if it was deemed safe, there was nothing wrong with the stair, she just tripped on her feet, then it's not the cruise line's fault. But I'd like to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments. So to recap, we talked about the murder on board MSC Virtuosa, which ironically is the same ship that the UK drama The Good Murder is filmed on. Interesting. No, that wasn't part of the show. We also talked about the Mexican tax hike for cruise passengers and the legal battle over the cruise ship staircase fall that resulted in lacerations and the need for a skin graft. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think about Mexico's tax hike? Should the cruise line be held responsible for the fall? Let me know. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and like this video if you found it helpful. And until next time, we'll see you as we travel beyond the dock. Happy cruising.